a lot of questions about the tsunami watch that was issued, now upgraded to a tsunami advisory, not something that we're used to having here along the coast of San Diego, but is affecting the entire western coastline of the United States.
Triggered by a massive 8.7 earthquake that hit the Kamchatka province of Russia earlier today. It sent out those advisories, warnings, watches all around the Pacific Rim. We know the first impacts have started in Hokkaido, where there are reports of a 1-foot tsunami right now. So that would be a good initial sign, but we can't read too much into it from what I understand about the mechanics of tsunamis.
As the northernmost island of Japan, let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis to talk a little bit about what you know from the National Weather Service and this tsunami now advisory.
Yeah, that's right. When we first went into this, when we were talking about it at the top of the 6th, it was a watch. That meant the potential was there of us feeling these impacts. But now it has changed, and now we're talking about an advisory. So the verbiage that you need to really understand with that is we are going to have impacts with this. They are expected. Now, whether or not it's going to be something that's going to be very detrimental to our coastline, yet to be determined. But we are talking about the Russian Peninsula, in which this did happen, where we had that 8.7 earthquake. So it has changed from a watch to an advisory. So now we're talking about this time frame going all the way until Friday. So Friday until 6:27 p.m. Now here are the impacts. It's right there along our coastline. So not just talking about us here in San Diego County, but impacting along the entire West Coast. So these are the estimated times that we could start to see those impacts. So for tonight, around 11:55 p.m., all of these are Pacific Standard Time. That would be for Newport, Oregon. You're talking about 11:55 p.m. Also seeing those impacts trickle right down along the California coast. So basically moving from Oregon towards California, Monterey could start to see it about 15 minutes after midnight. Los Angeles Harbor about 5 minutes after 1, and our impacts could start right along our coastline around 1:15 in the morning. So when we talk about seeing that for Oceanside as well as for La Jolla, I just want to also specify that these are just locations that were picked by the National Weather Service. It doesn't mean that these are the only locations that would start to see some of those impacts. And so we're talking about our entire coastline when it does come to the tsunami advisory upgraded from that watch earlier. Breaking things down just a little bit more. So when we're talking about a tsunami advisory, that means a tsunami took place, and so we are looking at producing strong currents or dangerous waves. That would be in our forecast right along a coastline, as I mentioned, all the way into about Friday. And that's because that first wave that we could start to see some of those impacts later on tonight in the overnight hours may not be the strongest. And that's why it's going to keep going all the way into Friday right along our coastline and also impacting for the West Coast in general. Impacts in or very near the water is what's anticipated. Now we do have the alert that goes all the way basically along coastline. Kind of want to go back to that a little bit more. Right here along our coast. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can see that that also includes the 805, that also includes Mission Valley. Well, that's just typical when it comes to the parameters for any alerts that go into effect for the coast here in San Diego County. When we talk about even rip currents, we see this same area highlighted. So most of those impacts are going to be right there on the water or near the water, very close to it. So even though you might be seeing that Mission Valley is included in this, that does not mean it's going to go all the way to that area. So we're just keeping you posted when it does come to the impacts. As mentioned, could start to see that by tonight all the way through the overnight hours and still holding on to it all the way until Friday. So we are looking at the potential of seeing the waves really get big along our coastline, strong currents also being present along our coastline. So please, hang back. Don't go near the coastline. We want to keep you nice and safe. Impacts, once again, in or very near the water. Widespread inundation not expected, but of course we want to continue to keep you posted because we did have a very strong earthquake that took place, and that was at an 8.7 impacting for Russia, and now we're seeing that impact when it comes to these tsunami threats all the way across the West Coast and here as we go into tonight through Friday. So we will continue to keep you posted when it comes to any additional alerts. As of right now, tsunami advisory. We are watching the coastline very closely.